Welcome to the Louisville Business Review, where we spotlight the best local businesses. Today we have with us the one and only Darryl Isaacs, aka The Hammer, personal injury attorney and attorney superhero for the people. You may recognize Darryl from his ads on the highway and his astounding Super Bowl commercials.
Kentucky, the fight for justice continues.
Hey, you T-boned my cruiser. Oh, big insurance. Help me, Darryl Isaacs. You're my only hope.
On my way.
So, you've come for your small check.
Take it. Never. Darryl Isaacs is on his way.
The Hammer can't help you now.
It's hammer time.
Get him!
Time to pay up.
I quit!
Put me down!
I tried to warn you.
Was that a horse?
Thank you, Darryl Isaacs.
May justice always be with you.
And may the hammer always be on your side.
It's the one and only Darryl Isaacs, aka the Kentucky Hammer or Heavy Hitter. Welcome, Darryl.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here, and thank you for having me.
For those of us who've been living under a rock and have never heard of you, could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, so my name is Darryl Isaacs. I'm a personal injury attorney, and I've lived in Louisville my whole life. And when I say Louisville, it's funny, whenever I go places, you can tell someone's from Louisville because they pronounce it that way. But I've started a law firm when my father was semi-retired in 1/1 of 93. And we handle personal injury cases, truck cases, represent the individuals, not the companies or corporations. And next year will be our 30-year anniversary. So very excited about that.
Congratulations. Wow, that's very exciting.
Thank you.
It's one thing to become an attorney, but it's yet another thing to last and yet another thing to really succeed at it. And you've really been able to take it to the next level and then some, and you've had some amazing experiences along the way. So really excited to get into this and
Okay.
Story.
I'm an open book. I'll tell you all my failures along the journey.
I love it. I can see why people love you. Could you describe a bit about who is your ideal client that you serve?
Well, I want to help anybody in need. Doesn't matter their race, religion, sex, gender orientation, or their wherever they place on the socioeconomic scale. We don't represent insurance companies. We don't represent, corporations. We just represent the average, everyday, common person. As my grandfather said, God must love the common man because he made so many of them. So we just help anybody that needs our help. And of course, there's some conditions. I mean, different types of cases, and you got to prove liability and damages. But we help those who are in need.
Wonderful. And how many locations and how many employees do you have at the moment?
Well, locations, that's tough. We may have 10 or 12 throughout the state of Louisville or Kentucky and Indianapolis or Indiana, and then some in Cincinnati. I have give or take about 90. I call them team members. I don't like the word employees. We're all one big team. So I have 90 team members, give or take. I have about 30 attorneys and just a sorted mixture of staff and team members.
Team members, absolutely. What geographic areas do you serve, Darryl?
Oh, we'll go over the whole state, Kentucky, Indiana. All of our attorneys are licensed in about 12 states, so we'll take truck cases all over the country. But I'm licensed in Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, so try to focus on that.
Yeah.
But, Kentucky's where I was born and raised. So that's kind of my preference.
Yeah. And I was reading your bio and it said that when you were younger, you started out working for your father. Is that correct?
Well, yes and no. During law school, I was lucky enough to clerk for an attorney named David Kaplan, and he's deceased now. But David allowed me to sit through 22 jury trials during law school. I worked on about 300 personal injury cases. So when I came out, I wasn't the best student in the world, but I used to skip class and go watch trials, sit in trials. So I had, even though I flunked the bar twice and my grades are terrible, I don't know that I ever would have worked for anybody. I kind of always wanted to work for myself. And I just was very blessed to have a lot of experience. Just my lack of success in the educational world allowed me to make that easy decision because I didn't have firms knocking my door down. So I hung a shingle, and I've never regretted it.
It's hard to believe that you would have flunked any exams because you're so incredibly successful at what you do now. What would you say is, you've obviously achieved many, many goals, and you're not like a new entrepreneur or a new attorney, really been there, done that, literally. You've gone through your own experience being on the side of clients in the sense that you went through a tragic car accident. I believe it was back in 2015, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How has that impacted your practice, your life, and how you approach things now differently than you did before?
Well, okay, so you had a couple part question. If I can answer first part, I think failure breeds success. I've never been afraid to fail. I take a lot of risk. And I think when you fail and you get up, you get better. My oldest son played football at Trinity, and senior year, he said, watch this video. This is how I deal with Trinity football, because they were the best and won state all the time. And there was a Navy SEAL Rear Admiral that gave a speech, a commencement speech. And I was blown away when I watched it that I practiced a lot of what he talked about. But the more you fail, the more you practice, the better you get. So I've always looked at failure is just a delay in your continued success. But I always want to turn a negative into a positive. But if you take my accident, for example, I was probably like most people, you take things for granted and you almost die. And then there was 8 days I didn't know if I'd walk. So it made me a better everything. Had kind of a little deal with God. If he let me walk, I would help everybody. And so after my accident, my law firm has thrived because I've applied a lot of the principles that I've now. I don't take things for granted, but also if you do for others, you get so much in return. And just yesterday, I signed up a lady had a broken neck, and I can relate to her because I've had a broken neck. So we talked, and I don't really try to sign them up anymore. I gave her advice and told her she needs an attorney. If not us, get somebody. And they all want us because we've lived their experiences. So it's made me a better person, better everything. I wouldn't wish the accident on anybody, but I think through life, good and bad things happen to you. It makes you the person you are. So I'm much better of a person today than I was before the accident.
Wow, that's pretty profound. What would you say is different in terms of your goals now? What are your goals going forward that you're looking to achieve?
Well, goals are so important. I just got interviewed for 30 minutes down. I flew to Florida. They're having this live event where there are other attorneys and learning about marketing. And I talked about goals. I don't wake up every day and say, I want to be the richest person in the world. I wake up every day and say, I'm so grateful for my opportunity and I get to help people. Yes, I do make a lot of money helping people, but Zig Ziglar, one of my mentors, said, you can get anything in this world if you help other people get what they want. So probably my number one goal is I want to help everybody become the best they can be. And in return, I get it back 10, 20, 30, 40 times.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. There's a stigma that some people have about attorneys, but I feel like speaking to you, a lot of that is shattered. And it's so amazing. If only the legal world and many of the other businesses that don't have the best rep could learn from your experiences and your demeanor, your outlook, and your perspective on things, it would be really amazing.
Well, look, I'm not a saint. I'm not a martyr. I mean, I'm an average guy that, has been successful. There's so many better attorneys than me. There's so many better people than me. I just try to do something good for everybody. My rule is every day I try to do something good for at least one person. Doesn't matter if I know them or not. I just want to help. I'm very a positive person. I watch a lot of positive, like Anthony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale. I just believe you get by giving, and you give without expectation. But our profession does take a hit from time to time because, but like anything else, there's some good attorneys, bad attorneys, good cops, bad cops, good doctors, bad doctors. But I just try to be if I try to be a good human being, hopefully everything else falls into place.
Mm-hmm. And I've been reading that, you've done all sorts of different charitable events, speaking engagements. What has been the most fulfilling to you and why?
Wait, okay. Part of it cut up. What has been the most what?
So you give some motivational talks, and
oh yeah, okay.
You also you did some charity in the West End with giving out bike helmets, and over the years you've done a lot for the community and beyond. And I'm just wondering, for the sake of the audience, what has been the most fulfilling to you when it comes to charity?
Oh well, some of these people we've helped. I mean, it's sad, when you say in the West End and the bicycle helmets, a lot of these kids can't afford a helmet if they're riding a bike. So, we try to make it a safer place. I can't tell you years ago, probably my first favorite events was that All I Want for Christmas, where we partnered and gave, 1,500 gifts. And I was amazed that people were standing in line in the rain for a couple hours to get in. And I thought, wow, we take things for granted, and these people are so appreciative. So all I have to do is see a smile on somebody's face, and it's worth it. And when we did the bike helmets, we're going to do it again. But it was fun. We had some bikes there, and we had courses, and a lot of my staff was trying to show them how to wear the helmet, fit properly. But just seeing the kids smile, I mean, you light up when you see their smiles.
Absolutely. So, you seem like someone, although you're from Louisville, it seems like you've traveled a lot. You've gotten to experience a lot of different types of people of different stature. Right. And you also seem to think big, which is great. And just curious how you see Louisville, what vision you have for Louisville going forward, given where we're at and where we could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you've had some tragic events, and if I could do anything in this world and change it, everybody says they want world peace. I just want unity. I mean, I want everybody to come together. My motto is, you don't have to like each other, but you can respect everybody. And isn't it easier to just smile and say, how you doing, than, shunning somebody or bullying somebody or excluding somebody? And there's so many people that have been wronged in so many arenas in Louisville, but it would be wonderful if we just saw the whole community just come together. And I don't know what it's going to take to do it. I don't have that answer, but I just know every day everybody can try to do their part. And, hopefully, I mean, Louisville, before COVID, I mean, the downtown was amazing. It would come back in the bridge and all the eateries, and then you see all the stuff that's happened, and it breaks your heart in so many ways. But I would love to see Louisville thrive again. I'll be honest, I think we need new leadership. I mean, sometimes people stay in there too long, and while I have no desire to do any of that, I would love to see some new, younger leadership to put, energy and there's so many. I mean, I was just spending time with a very young individual. I was probably like 23, 24 at this seminar, that I was speaking, and gosh, I can't get over the energy that, because I feel like an old man, but the future generation, I feel like I want them to step up and have their opportunities, because we older people had our opportunities.
Wow. Speaking of the younger generation, there's viewers that'll be watching this that feel very inspired by your story and who you are. What advice would you give someone who's starting out or who's considering going into law?
Well, I'm biased. I think law is one of the greatest professions in the world. I'm not saying it's the greatest, it's the only. I mean, there's so many, doctor, medicine, teachers, firemen. I just love the law because I think it's an avenue that you can help people. And if you go to law, I got three brothers, two are lawyers. I mean, one doesn't even practice law. He's a corporate lawyer and he's an employee benefit specialist. But there's so many things you can do with a law degree. I mean, I know people went to law school, never practiced, but they're entrepreneurs or, I just think it's a phenomenal education. And anybody that'll listen, I'll tell them go to law school.
That's wonderful. I don't know if I read correctly, but I read somewhere that when you were younger, you wanted to be an orthodontist, but you ended up going into law.
Yes.
Is that true? And are there any regrets?
Yes. No. That is, I wanted to be an orthodontist because at the time my three brothers all had braces, and with a doctor named Dr. Perkins, and my teeth never got the braces because they were straight, and I was upset not knowing. But as I got older in high school and I saw an open heart surgery, the school had on video, and I knew, oh, that wasn't for me. So my father, I kind of knew early on, my father was a lawyer and he went back to law school late in life at 40 and with 4 kids and had a business. So he, it was a lot of work, but I knew the day, I think I've said this, when my father got sworn in, I was like 8, 9, 10, I don't know how old. I jumped up on the chair at the Supreme Court, I raised my hand like he did. And I got sworn in as a kid. I'm going to be a lawyer. And I knew then I wanted to be a lawyer. But yes, I mean, orthodontist I thought was an amazing profession, but I've never regretted. If I had to do it all over again, I'd be a lawyer again.
That's amazing. And we could definitely see that it's been your calling and you've more than excelled at it. And we're so grateful to have you here in Louisville.
Well, thank you. I never want to sound like I'm bragging, but what I want to tell people is I was almost last in my class, flunked the bar. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I look at next year's our 30-year anniversary, and my father was semi-retired when I started, and he came, and it was funny. I'll never forget. I said, I didn't think a sole practitioner would get a lot of respect. So I said, let me borrow your name, and he just kind of chuckled. But I mean, we just hit the $2 billion mark in gross sales. I mean, we collect for clients. And, we've probably represented 60, 70,000 people over the almost 30 years. And anybody can do this. I mean, like I say, I'm average intelligence at best. You work hard. And I just want anybody out there, my speech is not for the person that's number one in the class. Mine's for the one that's at the bottom that thinks they can't do it. Probably one of the most influential attorneys in my life was Frank Haddad, who was a legend in Louisville. And he was speaking my first year of law school. I was on probation. And starting the second semester, I was seriously thinking about quitting. And he came to speak at the law school. And it was fate because I skipped class, walked in. I was late. And I heard him right as I walked in. He told everybody he was last in his class, this and that. And if he could do it, anybody can do it. And honestly, I thought if he can do it, I can do it. And I'm telling you all, if I can do it, you all can do it. So anybody can do this.
And Darryl, you've been around long enough to see, commercials go from TV to the internet, and print advertising almost go obsolete. And
Right.
We still see your ads everywhere. We see billboard signs. We see you on social media. We see your commercials still on TV. How have you adapted your advertising and marketing today? How is it different than it was maybe a couple of years ago?
Well, I think it was easier years ago before social media, because when I went on TV and I did back covers of phone books, oh my gosh, within 6 months going to back cover in 1990, I think it was 4, got my first $1 million case. I mean, it was just so much easier. Now it's not the competition. It's just, there's so many means out there where, when the phone book started going away, then you replace them with billboards and then the internet. But now there's so much social media. I mean, it's not just like, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, you can go on and on and on. And it's harder because of now you got to be everywhere, where back then you only had to be 2 or 3 places. So it has evolved, and you got to change with the times. And I've been slow. I didn't even get on Facebook until like 5-6 months ago. I just was anti-social media, and I think social media is the curse for our younger generation of the 21st century, because there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of this and that, but it's something you have to accept. It's almost like, these cars that are gas, I love them, but now everybody's going electric. And I think I saw at 2035, every car's got to be electric. So you just have to adapt. My grandmother, I interviewed in 1972, and I was born in 64. I'll never forget, for school, she said, you have to adapt to the changes. And I've always think of her. And I've been slow to adapt. That, as I say, I'm not this great marketing genius. A lot of things I do are failed miserably, but you learn from your mistakes. But I'm still learning because, so I'm 57, and this, what is it called? Gen ZZ, or this under 30 crowd, they don't watch TV. My daughter's one of them. They watch cell phones, and they'll watch Netflix and, everything on a little phone. And, I don't think she's watched probably an hour of TV in 5 years because she watches her phone every day. So it's been challenging. We got to find ways to reach, various classes of people that, the under 30, like I say, it's a challenge. Now I know what my parents experienced, when I was younger, because I feel like technology's left me behind, and, it's like a car, not to add gas. I don't know how it runs. It's like electricity. I can enjoy it, but I don't understand it. I don't understand social media, but I'm trying to learn. I'm starting to do more videos. I've even hired someone full-time to work with me. I feel stupid as hell when I do them, but what I've learned about the customer is, regardless of what you think, if that's what they want, people want the videos. So I'm going to do the videos. That's give the customer what they want, even if I don't necessarily agree that that's what I would do.
So it's interesting you say you don't know what you're doing. However, looking at your social media, it looks like you're very versed at it, because you're natural, you're engaging, the videos are really fun, and it looks like you're doing that more than you're fighting cases. I mean, you're so good at it.
Well, I've got a great team, and every day I'm shooting videos, but I couldn't tell you to edit them. And it's funny, we hired a new girl, and her name's Claudia, and she's amazing. She's got millions of followers, and she's just going to help take us to another level. But, last night, I'm on the phone, and she's trying to walk me through it with a FaceTime. And I'm like, I'm just sorry, I can't do it. I just, so I got to wait till I meet with her, and then she takes my phone and does it. I wish I was better at this, but I guess you can give me credit for getting the right people to help me.
Absolutely. That's working smarter. That's great.
Yeah.
So Darryl, what's the number one way that you are currently bringing in new customers?
I think word of mouth referral. I do something that everybody, you don't have to be a lawyer. Everybody's watching your show. So I assume there are a lot of entrepreneurs and business people, men, women, that, I don't know if you're a realtor or whatever. Give your cell phone out. I mean, I almost won't do business with anybody who refuses to give me their cell phone. I've probably given my cell phone to 50,000 people. You want people to call you when they need you, day or night. Like I say, in the last week, just on my cell phone alone, I've signed up $3 million cases because people have my cell phone. Now, they'll call my office, but I go around town everywhere I go. I'll give it to you, all your viewers now. I give my cell phone, 502 8 - 1 is 7 1000. Everybody, whatever your business is, give people your cell phone. The more accessible you are, the more you will get new business.
Wow. That's very revolutionary in some ways, because I feel like there's a whole group of people that would say, hey, we keep the professional world separate from our private life.
I know. I get this pushback. So I was telling you earlier, I do these mastermind groups. I've got about 30 law firms across country that I've got 3 groups, and they all pay to be in it. And we manage them, and we share ideas. I can't tell you how many attorneys, like a friend of mine's Louisiana, he's got 200 employees. He goes, there's no way I'm giving my cell phone to the public. And I thought, you're crazy if you don't. but that's been my secret. I try to be very approachable. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. A lot of times I'll be in town, I get stopped and asked for pictures, autographs, whatever they want, I give them. Because I know as a kid, I used to want that from other people. And so I always put myself in that shoes. What would I want? And that's what I try to deliver.
That's awesome. And, it's amazing because when you look at Louisville, it's not as, massive as some other cities are. Like if you go to New York City or
Right.
San Francisco or Miami, LA, whenever you have transplants that come from there to Louisville, they see the difference. They see that, as you said, there could be more unity here. There could be more, progressiveness. There could be a lot more change. And it's really refreshing to have someone like you who's from here, who's really succeeded at a very high level and who also wants the same. So that's very
well, Ed, you got to be from Louisville because you say Louisville too. So I'm laughing. You're a little bit. But just like today, I mean, I had to fly down. I eat nonstop. So Southwest had a nonstop to Tampa. So I'm flying early. And it's funny, I was going to security and I saw a lady in a wheelchair. And I think I was standing to wait for my stuff to go through. And the security person goes, "Is she with you?" And I said, "No, but I'll claim her." And we Louisvillians are friendly people. I mean, I struck up a conversation and then I had no idea she had been on my same flight. In fact, I thought at the time she might have been one of my friend's wives that I'd never met the wife. But I mean, I think Louisville is a very friendly, the people are very friendly. And I know when I travel, I mean, everywhere I go, people find out from Kentucky and, I'm just me. I try to talk, introduce, I give compliments. My grandmother said, if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all. But today I stopped at a gas station to get a drink and an older gentleman, was walking and I didn't know him from Adam. And I said, "Hey, how about beauty before age?" And I let him go first. And I thought, he started laughing and then he made a comment. I said, "Oh," and he goes, "Really? I don't care." He goes, "I don't give a shit about people." And it kind of took me back a second, but I wasn't going to let that ruin my moment. And then a little bit later, I went to check out and he was there. And I said, "No matter what you say, I think you're a good person." And I mean, he was shocked because I'd rather empower somebody and I don't know what he's going through. Maybe he had something bad happen, but I'm not going to have him. I don't want people to be negative around me, and I want to be positive. And even if they're negative, I'm going to encourage them to be positive. And then they can choose not to be around me. But I just think the more you give and help people, the more you get it in return.
I couldn't agree with you more, Darryl. My question to you would be, were you always like this? Like, because you seem like you're such a giving person, such a humble person, and you really look at the essence of the human being rather than how they might be behaving in the moment. Have you always?
Well, no. I mean, listen, when I was a kid, I never was, I was like everything else. I was bullied a little bit and I was excluded. And I mean, probably things everybody goes through, but I just made it my mission in life. I would not treat people the way I would treat people the way I want to be treated. And even if people are being bad or mean, I would just find other friends or I switched schools a lot. I just refuse to let that define me. And then, the thing about attorneys, you help people. I like the underdog. I mean, one of my first early cases, we got a young girl, 28 years old, who didn't have running water in her house, $4 million, like 20 something years ago. And I remember, I just remember I want to help people. And I knew what she was going through was a hard time. And, everybody, she had different boyfriends that were coming. She had different kids by, different fathers, but she had a tough life. And I thought it made me feel good knowing I was helping transform her. And, I treated her like what I would, we set up LLCs. We did stuff I don't normally do, but I just thought she needs help. But I think because of being when I was a kid where maybe I was bullied or wasn't picked or wasn't popular, it made me want to go help the other people. And, sadly, when you do become successful, now everybody wants to be your friend. Right. I still look for just everyday people. I mean, I'd get along better with a janitor than I would a CEO of a company. I still, my wife gets mad. I said, my favorite food's White Castle. I mean, I'm just still the same guy that was Heights Point when I grew up, but I don't know. I get more enjoyment helping people achieve, and the ones that get picked on. I went to speak at a school once, and I noticed, a student was sitting by himself, and it broke my heart thinking all these kids around. So I was going to go have lunch. So you know who I had lunch with? I went and sat down with this kid. And then one by one, all these kids started coming around me. But I was focused on this kid. I thought he had been shunned so long. So we started talking. He was shy. And then a couple kids came around and I said, have you all met him? Now, he's an amazing kid. And, by the end of the time I left, he had 3 or 4 friends. And I felt like I facilitated it. But it broke my heart to see, why can't people see someone by themselves? Why can't you go out and get them involved and help them instead of just excluding them? So, I mean, that's kind of the person I try to be. And, I just would hope other people would do the same.
Darryl, it's been such an honor. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Well, I can give a pitch. I was telling you earlier. So part of myself and a lot of these law firms across country, we meet, like I'm getting ready to meet 2 weeks with 15 firms. So we all came up with an idea that we would put on a big marketing and advertising summit in Vegas. So maybe our website's going to go live, but it's called Legal Mastermind Group. And we're going to teach 800, 1,000 attorneys, or it could be non-attorneys, how to do marketing and advertising. And so, I feel like it's a way to give back. We are going to charge to cover. The Wynn might be the most expensive hotel on the planet, but it makes me feel good where I can teach other people what we do, and maybe, they can do the same thing. So, but I get calls from people that aren't attorneys all the time. I'm always open, try to give some marketing, advertising advice. I don't have the answers all the time, but I will share my failures, which sometimes can lead to other people's successes. So,
Darryl, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much for making time.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Are you struggling to figure out the best ways to promote your business? Forget about the failed attempts and get your business featured at Louisville Business Review to experience the real-time conversion and aspire to new heights of success with greater exposure and ROI. Visit www.louisvillebusinessreview.com to get featured now.